Summing up a crazy game.
Yeah, where do you want to start with that one? I spoke before the game about it had never been a nothing game when these two teams play each other. There's always a wee edge to that as well. I think credit to both sets of players for giving absolutely everything today, when some players might be thinking about summer holidays around the corner or whatever that looks like. Some boys are going away international duty, looking after themselves. There certainly wasn't that. I thought it was very end to end. Either side could have won at any stage with the amount of chances that were at both ends, which was a bit, from a coaching point of view, you'd like to be a little bit better from that point. But at the same time, I can't fault players' efforts and commitment. And I think probably fitting that we didn't lose the game today with how the seasons went, and then it gives you that sort of feeling at the end of the season, which the players deserve for their efforts this season, and then the special sort of sunshine relief at the end and everything that comes with that. So I'm delighted for the players.
Rangers have released a statement. They're very angry at the disallowed goal.
Yeah, I think it's, well, firstly on the decision, until you can categorically prove whether it is or it isn't, that then comes back to the technology. So I'd understand why the frustration's there, but it's clearly that until you can say it's definitely in or it's definitely not, which is what goal line technology would bring, I suppose, and at least then whatever that is, whatever that says, then you would go by, would probably be a wee bit more consistent with it. You're always going to have that grey area all the time. Clearly it's went for us on that occasion. If it was given as a goal, we couldn't prove that it wasn't, or it was. So I think that's something in the game, and I probably summed up the game, to be honest, then, because there was lots of end-to-end moments within that. We go straight up the pitch and score. I think there might even been a foul on Rocky Bashiri before the ball goes into the net, or not over the net. Did it go in? I don't know. That's the thing. So everyone's having that same conversation, but clearly, the way the game went, the players, both sets of players, giving absolutely everything today. So credit for that.
Have you been in a position to go to the board and say, listen, can you match my ambitions?
I think the ambition of the club's always there. I think the club is, ever since the Gordon families came in, they want to try and improve the club all the time. And I think you see that even with the stuff that's been done off the pitch for this football club that I joined 10 years ago to where it is now, in terms of the training ground, the stadium, facilities, everything that's going in the right direction. And my job was always, as I said right at the start of the season, was to bring the playing side up to scratch, because it's something we've maybe let ourselves down with in recent years in terms of where we need to get to. And my challenge is always to try and keep improving the players. The support and backing's always been there, and it'll continue to be there. We've got European football to look forward to next season, in whatever format that is, depending on the cup final, clearly. But again, you need to have a squad ready to do that, and the backing's always been there. And this squad is a very good squad at the minute. Didn't do much business in January because of the quality that's already in there and the togetherness within it. And I speak a lot about the group of players and the togetherness. And the right type of characters that have been through that adversity but then came out the other side of it, and they fully deserve all the praise for an achievement this season, which is really incredible. When you think back to where we were, to where they are, to where we finished, to secure third with a game to go is an incredible achievement, and the players deserve all the praise for that.
Does a green and white Hibs scarf become a green and white Celtic scarf for 90 minutes next Saturday?
Well, listen, one thing I've said, and I've said all season, is you only worry about things you can affect, and I certainly can't affect the outcome of that game next week. I'm not going to say I won't watch it, I will. I've actually got a game of golf scheduled before it, which I'm looking forward to in the morning, and then we'll catch the game in the afternoon. But as I say, you can only control the controllables. What will be off the back of that. One thing I would say is I don't want to come away from or even think about anything other than praise for the group of players and the football club and everybody involved at the minute for finishing third this season, because that's an incredible achievement.
Is guaranteed European football, will that help your budget?
Not necessarily. I think, listen, as I've already said, the support's always there. That's not directly up to me what happens with that sort of thing. That's the football club when deciding what they think's the right thing to do. As I've already said, the support has constantly been there and will continue to be there. The European football helps in terms of, it's like anyone, even when I joined the football club, the lure of potentially playing in Europe is why you want to come to a big club like Hibs. It is a genuine opportunity and ambition to go and do that. We've managed to secure that this season, which is really good, really positive. But you're going to challenging in Europe potentially, and then you obviously want your domestic form to be solid as well, which is difficult to make sure you balance that. It's not as if it's Rangers and Celtic, they do it regularly on a regular basis. It's something that'll be new, but we always want to improve and always want to improve the group, and the backing's always been there.
How unsurprised were you to see Martin Boyle score today, and how do you feel about the clause getting triggered finally to see him next year?
I'm delighted for everyone involved, to be honest. I'm delighted for Boyle. He's been outstanding this season. It's something, I know it looks like we've just done it right at the very end, but we've had conversations for a number of weeks now, very positive ones about what's happening with Boyle, and my focus was always just to make sure that it didn't interfere with him or distract him in any way, shape or form, and it certainly hasn't. His level of performance has been outstanding this season. Probably went under the radar a little bit, but I see what he brings to me every single day in the building. The way he trains, but the way he plays, the way he affects games of football at this level, you've seen that again today. He could have had a hat-trick today. I think when you see some of the chances, he was very unlucky with the volley that goes over the top. Caught offside a couple of times, but it's always because he plays on the edge, and I think that a wee bit unlucky he overran one as well. So I think what Boyle is a constant threat at this level, and I've been a fantastic servant for the football club. So we're delighted for everyone that he's going into his 10th season and he deserves it.
How equipped is this squad to deal with Europe? And
you certainly will have to plan for it, and I think clearly we'll know where we are in a week's time. But even regardless, we still want to back yourselves, even if you have to go through the qualifying rounds to try and get to that level. So you want to have a squad that's capable of doing that. I said in January we didn't do much business in January because of the strength and depth in the squad. Clearly we might lose a few players that have been loan additions this season. They'll go back to their parent clubs potentially. So there will be naturally ins and outs along the way. But it's always about trying to improve, but making sure that when you're bringing players into the football club that they're the right type and the right characters that are good enough to impact the group and keep moving it forward, because that's the challenge, to always keep moving forward. Now, yes, we've achieved third place, which is brilliant, but there's still a lot of improvement to come out. This group is still quite a young group that train really well all the time and have got a desire to get better, which is really positive.
we need to carry a larger first team squad to cope with the fixture load.
It's not. I don't think it's always necessarily about numbers. It's definitely about quality within that. Rather than just having bodies, I think that's again something else we done in January, which the group became smaller and tighter in January. So it is about having players that that when your subs are coming on, that they're actually making you better at times, which has been demonstrated on numerous occasions this season. So you really need that squad, but you also need quality within it, and I think that's something we have got. We will be adding and needing to add because we will lose loan players, etc. So there will be work to be done over the summer, and that will happen naturally. But the key is to keep improving and keep moving forward.
First start for Alisana, is more to come from him?
Yeah, it was a bit of a baptism of fire for him at the very start of the game. He's not played the minutes he would have liked of late. He joined the club in January where he's hadn't had a pre-season, he had an off-season at the time, so getting up to fitness never, and then this probably speaks volumes of the level of consistency in the middle of the pitch from the two boys that were playing there regularly, and Dylan Levitt, Nectar, Nathan Mariah Welsh played a lot of games in there as well, so it was harder for him to get his game time, but we always knew that was going to be the case for him. He wasn't coming in to hit the ground running because he wasn't in that physical place to do that. I thought he grew into the game today. You see moments, really composed on the ball, and he'll benefit from that today. It's good to get him the minutes today because he's trained really well, and he'll definitely be one that benefits from a real good pre-season with us as well, and I'm sure he can then look to hit the ground running at the start of the season.